Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Youth Lounge with SKNYPA show. My name is Hassani McDonald.
I'm Malaika Howell.
And we will be your hosts for this evening's show. Now, Malaika, we are in the month of February.
The month of love.
The month of love, they say. And so we have a very packed show for you guys this evening. We have some lovely guests who will be joining us after the commercial break. And so we want you to stick and tune with Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
Hello and welcome to Event Extraordinaire. Today we wanted to introduce you to our sparkler boxes. Our sparkler boxes are customized to fit any occasion. And today we wanted to show you what exactly comes in a themed party sparkler box. So here goes! Each sparkler pack contains enough items to have a party for 6 persons. So in addition to all the regular parts that come with a sparkler party, as in the cups, the spoons, the plates, and even the horns, we wanted to let you know that you also get masks, you get invitations, there are party hats, there's even a party banner, there's your usual loot bags, you get a tablecloth, and you even get blowers. Our sparkler boxes are available in a variety of themes. There's Spider-Man, Frozen, Paw Patrol, Minnie Mouse, Peppa Pig, any theme that you can imagine, Events Extraordinaire is here to supply. Please visit us today. We are located in Camps next to the 24-hour gas station. Our numbers are 767-6977 or 663-6227. Events Extraordinaire. Let's add the sparkle to your event.
Whether you're a local gem or a national brand, ZIZ TV is the platform to elevate your presence, capture attention, drive sales, and make a lasting impression on thousands of potential customers. Don't miss out on this prime advertising space. Contact us now at 465-2621. That's 465-2621 and speak to our marketing experts. Catch the eyes, make the sales, advertise here on ZIZ TV.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Again, my name is Hassani McDonald.
I'm Malaika Howell.
And we are here for our February edition of Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Well, one of.
But Malaika, what is our theme for this evening?
Well, the theme for this evening is a journey in self-love. So, February is the month of love, like we said.
Yes.
But what's about you? So what is self-love? And we asked a few people, what does self-love mean to you?
And so we're going to hear from them. At your own definition of what self-love means to them. Let's hear from them.
Self-love mean to you?
Self-love is loving yourself through the good and the bad, and recognizing that your flaws aren't really flaws, and loving yourself for who you truly are, and setting boundaries for respect as well.
It means respecting yourself no matter what you do, no matter what you go through. Respect yourself all the time, because no matter what people say, it might keep you down, but you gotta try to push forward. You gotta try to push forward, and into anything you want to do, push forward, regardless.
Self-love means to me, even though somebody does not show you the love, like loving yourself without somebody showing it to you. It means like taking care of yourself, self-care, making sure everything for you on point and what's not.
Self-love to me, it means taking care of yourself and others around you, as well as taking care of family, friends, you know, in general, just self-love to yourself, but to others as well.
Okay, so self-love for me means giving yourself grace and just basically giving yourself the care and the love and attention that you need. Sometimes we think about others, but sometimes we just need to think about how we can take care of ourselves and just love ourselves.
Well, I think that self-love means loving yourself regardless of whatever imperfections you may have, and just unconditionally.
Self-love means to me like when you have confidence in yourself and just confidence.
Self-love is waking up every day and deciding to get the best things and do the best things for myself.
Okay, and we're back. If you're just joining us, I am Malika Howell.
I am SKNYPA.
And we are here to speak on a journey in self-love. To my left, we have our guest, our first guest. And I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, lady and gent. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Crystal Joseph.
Who are you, Crystal?
Well, Crystal is a young entrepreneur, owner of CJ Creates. That is an agency focused on being creative and bringing creative ideas to life. So we focus on marketing, we do concept and content development, and lots more. But we're here to speak about, a journey to self-love. So I'm really excited to be here to have that chit-chat with you.
Yes. Okay, well, while we're diving in, what does self-love mean to you?
Self-love has changed, the definition has changed throughout the years. And, as a young teenager, I would have looked at self-love to be, what is usually seen online, that whole pampering and that makeup, that self-care, that external self-love. Yes. But as I mature and I got older, self-love for me has transformed, especially in my faith. As a Christian, I see self-love to be totally different from what I thought it was before.
Right.
And when I think of self-love, I can't help but think of John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. And so for me, it's sacrificial. A lot of times we like to look at self-love to be something very easy. It's attainable, like it's a linear journey. But self-love is very complex. However, it's something that is fulfilling when you actually go into it and seek it and do the work. Yes. But I look at self-love to be fulfilling. For me, it's about putting me first. It's about taking care of me. Before, I used to think that self-love could have been seen as something selfish.
Right.
Because we have the misconception that once you dive into and focus on your own self, then you
become selfish because you're putting yourself first.
And that has caused persons, I believe, to run themselves dry, trying to pour into others. But I often say, you can't pour from an empty cup, and so you have to ensure that you fill yourself, you love yourself, so that you can pour into others.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, definitely.
So I am wondering, would you consider yourself an advocate for self-love? Is it something that you encourage your peers or persons you encounter to do?
Definitely. Actually, this year I did not come up with any or decided to do any New Year resolutions.
Well, you should probably look at our previous episode.
Definitely.
We explored some Vision 2024.
Right.
We did spiritual and we also did
financial.
So
Okay,
if those two are not on your list, you can watch our episode.
Oh, definitely. That's a part of self-love to that financial aspect, trust me. But this year, I decided not to do the typical New Year resolution, but I decided to focus on the aspect of self-love. And so when Hassani reached out to me, I said, this is so timely. This was just a confirmation for me to demonstrate that I am on the right path. So the reason why I decided to go on a self-love journey, and this is not something that it's a first-time thing for me. It's, trust me, it's ongoing, because when you look at self-love is not like, let's do this for 6 months, 3 to 6 months, and that's it. It's a continuous journey, right? And so when I took a look at my relationship with God, I realized that for me to actually attain and practice what self-love means for me was focusing on how God loved me, right? So that I can learn to love myself the way He sees me, and so that I can now learn to love myself and know how I want others to show up for me in terms of receiving love.
Right.
Because how can you actually receive love wholesomely and not even know how you want to be loved? And so that applies to my relationships, whether romantic or platonic. And so for me, it's an exciting journey, and I'm so happy to be here to talk about it. And it's a conversation I've been having with my friends. When you think about problematic situations that you have in relationships, whether platonic or romantic, you have to really assess, okay, first you have to do the self-analyzation to see how you contribute to the situation, how it played out to be however it was, especially when, you know, persons are calling you for advice. And it always leads back to yourself. And so if you don't implement certain things in your life as it relates to loving you, understanding what your needs are, to make sure that they are met, then you're going to always be in problems. So for me, I always advocate for self-love, because I think that's an essential part of our journey in life.
There is this notion that persons should love to people based on how they want to be loved. So I don't know if you know about the 5 love languages, you know, acts of service, etc. But they're like, if it is that you find yourself always wanting to help this person, or you're always giving gifts to this person, that is how you want to be loved. Do you agree with that notion, or do you believe that it's something else?
I actually do believe in it, because when I think of myself, I love reciprocity. So for me, if I show love in a certain way, I would want it to be received the same way. Some persons might say it's one-sided, it's selfish, but let's think about, again, how Christ loves us, right? Flawed, and He gives us that love, and He expects it back from us, that dedication, that devotion. And so for me, I think it's safe to say that it's okay for you to want to receive the type of love that you give out.
But then that person may be saying, not that I know we're exploring self-love, but I'm just saying that they're saying that you should find out what that person loves. So even if you love gift giving, that person may not appreciate gift giving the way that you does. So you may have to spend more time with that person. So how do we juggle these two concepts of, you know, me showing love, me understanding this person, like from a self-love perspective?
I mean, listen, as I said, self-love is actually complex, but you're absolutely right, and you have to understand the person's needs, right? And even if you show love the way that you want to be loved, right, it doesn't necessarily mean that maybe that's the way that you know how to love. However, when it relates to getting to know the individual, then you also have to step back and realize, like, hey, this is not meeting their needs. So then it's my opportunity now to get to know them, so that I can display the type of love that they want. Because they might feel like I'm deserving of that love, but because you have such a one tunnel vision towards that, you might not comprehend it that well.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Definitely. But as it pertains to self-love, like you said, you know, oftentimes we see it as a person being selfish, and, you know, you're told you can't love somebody unless you know how to love yourself. So how do you maneuver that? Because I know a term we use often is, I'm out of love. Literally, I'm out of love, whether with someone, with myself, with this extracurricular activity, with my job. How do you curve around that?
I mean, it's a journey of discovery, right? Understanding, being open-minded, realizing that it's not something that has like a step 1, step 2, step 3, right? You have to be open-minded as it relates to that. So if you're not open-minded, to me it's a more like a self-absorbed, self-centered type of way. But that's just my input on it.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to do the work on yourself.
Of course.
You know, make it easier for other persons. As you say, in any relationship, platonic, friendship, romantic, make it easier for persons coming into your space, into your circle. These are my boundaries.
Exactly.
And so I want to explore some of the practical tools that we could use to build on that self-love aspect.
First, I would say get to know yourself. Get to know what you love. Get to know what you desire, right? Because as you said, Communicating boundaries, that's definitely one of the practical tools, because what happens is that you exert yourself just to please that individual, knowing well that you are taking away from what you actually want and what's important for you. So then that's not you showing up for yourself.
Yes.
Right.
You also have to make time to understand the things you love, the things that makes you tick. You know, understanding how to deal with hurt.
Yes.
Healing also is a part of the self-love journey, because what we do, we overconsume a lot of things so that we can be distracted
Yes. And not
from the
really take
realities
care of
of
is
what
happening.
exactly of what's important. And honestly, learning to say no, and that's also a part of, you know, the whole boundary aspect. But it's very important for you to do that in order to put you first, because that's what self-love is really all about.
Okay, so Crystal, we're having a very intense discussion so far, but we must take a short commercial break and be back with more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
Answer your question. I was in a creation.
I realized it, and I was just like, it's okay. I was just like, it's okay.
Dr. John
I was just, yeah, I forgot it.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see, and the climate's changing, but hope is remaining. And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we stand. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind, because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
My name is Hassani McDonald.
I'm Malika Howell.
And if you're just joining us, we are here with Crystal Joseph, who we are having a conversation about a journey in self-love. And so before the break, of course, we mentioned some practical tools as it relates to self-love and encouraging that. But I want to talk about persons who suffer from self-esteem issues. You know, a lot of teenagers, young persons are like, they battle with these challenges, both mental and otherwise. And so, as an advocate for self-love, what are some things you would say to persons battling self-esteem issues?
Well, first I would say is to keep away from negative energy and negative conversations, things that are going to feed into that self-esteem problem. Secondly, I would say to definitely practice affirmations. Those are very important. Although sometimes they feel like you're just repeating the same thing, you have to make that a practice until you actually believe in what you're saying. Because one of the things that is very important is that you have to believe in yourself. And sometimes it's hard because, you know, we can be very self-sabotaging. We feed ourselves negative comments and so forth. We're hard on ourselves. We get down on ourselves when we make mistakes. But we have to, one of the things I would also say is to practice self-compassion. That is so important. You're only human. Go easy on yourself. If you didn't get it right the first time, or you can always try again. As long as you have life, you have an opportunity to be a better you. So I would say first, block out all the negativity. Secondly, I would say affirm yourself. And thirdly, give yourself some grace.
Yes.
That word grace.
For sure.
Yep.
I mean, and it overflows into other things, you know. You started to extend grace to others.
Exactly.
You know? That's important.
Of course.
Because the journey, I would imagine, to self-love is not a linear one.
Of course.
I mean, there are days you would think that you would have advanced and then you feel like you get thrown back. And so how, as you navigate the different turns and twists, so how would you tell a person, like, you know, this is not a linear journey?
This isn't the end.
What would you say to encourage them?
We just have to really accept that we're humans.
Yes.
Think about it. If we were getting it right all the time, then we're absolutely not humans,
Correct.
right? We're imperfect beings. However, realizing that, being able to accept that, giving yourself the grace that I mentioned, realizing that you messing up is an opportunity to improve, figuring out what are the lessons. Because I remember when I was younger, there were some cycles that I felt like I couldn't get out of, but what I had to do is sit down and really assess them and ask myself, why are these cycles coming all the time? But I feel like those are moments where you can actually take time to assess what went wrong, how these cycles came about, how you handle these situations. And so we can't be too hard on ourselves when we are always making these mistakes. I think those are signals for us to improve. That's how I see it. That's how I look at it. That's my perspective on it. And also, as it relates to the ups and downs, we have to love ourselves in the down moments. Because I feel like as a people, what we do, we have that form of self-love. And I'm doing this because it's not really self-love, where you're only content or pleased with yourself when you're producing
good
yes,
things, good
exactly. Positivity, you're doing well, you're excelling and all of that. And you're not able to give yourself that love even in those down moments when you're not really doing so well, when you're not your best self. And so for me, I look at it, I called it what you call it, I'm having a brain block, but it's not self-love, right? It's a C word, but anyway, we'll figure it out after. But it's not self-love because conditional acceptance, that's what it is. When we think about the way that God loves us, it's unconditional. And so that's why for me, during my self-love journey, I can't take out the God element, because understanding that he loves me unconditionally allows me to also love the flaws that Crystal produces, love the down moments, and in my down moments, just, you know, look up and be able to realize that these are lessons in helping me to, you know, bloom. Let's think about a flower. It's planted and rooted in dirt, right?
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And then when it comes out, it blooms. And so we have to embrace those dirty moments, realize that it's okay. It's a part of the blooming process.
Right.
And just extend that grace and love every part of you, because that's what makes you you. The flaws, the goods, the successes, everything.
It's okay not to be okay.
It's
Each
okay.
part functioning to ensure that you create this end result and this
Correct.
Very profound. Very profound.
Definitely.
It's just like sinking in right now.
Right? It's like,
sinking in,
like the puzzle pieces coming together.
And honestly, it's unfortunate that when it comes to social media,
yes, I was about to talk about
my goodness,
how persons view social media and how it feeds certain things that they have to do and they must be a part of. Like, let's speak to them. Let's encourage them.
I feel
in
like
that
that brings a lot of the insecurities,
of course.
most definitely, especially among the young people,
and
right?
we're competing when we should be comparing our own selves,
and
comparing
you know
the growth.
Comparison,
it kills. It's awful.
You know, because like, why don't I look like that? Why can't I live that lifestyle?
And of course, plenty of times, persons, what they portray on social media is not what they are in reality.
And it's just a 30 seconds of that.
Exactly.
And
then like they smile for the video, and then after the video start rolling, they're just like, and you're just like, I want to be that person, and you don't know what that person is back then. So many times, like, you know, suicide happens, and it's just like, wow, like that person was portraying themselves as
right, they were so happy, like, what could have gone wrong?
And as you say, it goes back to the point of us getting ourselves busy in so many things, so we don't have to deal with the root issue. But I think as part of this self-love journey is understanding the root of your issues, or understanding what causes this, and trying to resolve it and deal with it the best way possible.
Definitely, definitely.
But definitely, social media, especially with it's in this era, this generation of young persons, our reliance on social media as our influence. You know, there's so many influencers that we want to be like.
I know.
Right.
You know?
I know.
That's important. That's important.
Definitely.
Yes.
But then we also have that idea in our head where, you know, if it's not on the media, it never happened.
Oh my goodness.
So we're living life to prove to others that we're living life.
The pressures. And you see, this is why self-love is important, because requires you to accept the realities of your truth, right?
Yes.
In comparison to having to post to gain that validation, then you are now in that self-love journey. You have to be responsible for your happiness. You have to be responsible to validate yourself without the external factors. Because once you're not able to do that, you are never fulfilled. Even if you seek validation from your friends, maybe from the media, you still have that emptiness left
like
behind,
an empty
right?
shell.
So it's a responsibility to you, where you have to be in charge of your own happiness and be in charge of protecting it as well. So you can't be reliant on that whole social media or your friends, your family.
Because they will fail you sometimes too.
Exactly.
If you're expecting them to always have this good thing to say, and then they don't answer, like you
Just
have to
one
go on.
time they don't answer.
You have to go on. You can't.
That's where you have to do the work first. And self-love might sound beautiful, but sometimes it's a lonely road. But not because it's lonely or it might not feel comfortable. That doesn't mean that you're doing the right thing or you're on the right path. So don't be scary when it feels lonesome. Don't be scared when it feels like you're confused about it. But you just have to put in the work, be consistent, and realizing that nothing in life comes easy, but it's a sacrifice. Just like what I said in the beginning. Exactly. It's a sacrificial type of love that you deserve, that you are responsible to provide for yourself, and also tapping into God for Him to direct your path as well.
Yeah, and I think it's also, cutting off things that don't feed
serve
us.
You.
They no longer serve you.
Like recently, I went to the Life Maker Natural Farm tours, and he was explaining to us the whole idea about why caterpillars come to eat down the trees. And he was saying that, the tree or the plant or whatever it is, it starts to show signs to the farmer that you need to do something about this. And so once it moves from a place where you're not responding to what the signals it's giving, then the caterpillars come to start eating it off. But you were supposed to do this thing, and so the plant now brings the caterpillar to kill it because you're not serving, you're not giving it the correct conditions.
You're not caring for it.
And I thought that was so profound. Like, all the time, I mean, if I have agriculture and them things, but, or even if you have your little own garden or whatever, you see the caterpillars come and you're thinking, why did the caterpillar come from? The tree itself was showing you signals, and just as in our own lives, sometimes things not feeding us anymore, and we keep them. And so, it's only when we start to look back down, that's when other people come and be like, what's happening? You need to invest yourself, and you look at yourself and be like, this is not how I really supposed to. No, this is not the vibrant Hassani that I know, and that's important.
But not being able to cut that off also says a lot about you. Why is it okay to accept that, right? And so you accept not having that self-love or practicing it. It makes you accept things that you're not supposed to. I know, like, we make fun of these songs about like toxicity, toxic love and all these things, but that's the culture that we live in, which is very strange to me.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. No judgment, no judgment. But honestly, like, we really have to reflect on the things that we actually accept, the unhealthy habits, the unhealthy norms. Why do we feel that we're deserving of these things? Why is it funny? Why is it okay? Those are the things that we have to reflect on, right? Not because it's trending, that means it's what we should be doing. Exactly.
But I mean, we're having so much fun exploring this topic of self-love with Crystal Joseph. But unfortunately, we have to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see, and the climate's changing.
But hope is remaining.
And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no
Hello and welcome to Event Extraordinaire. Today we wanted to introduce you to our sparkler boxes. Our sparkler boxes are customized to fit any occasion. And today we wanted to show you what exactly comes in a themed party sparkler box. So here goes! Each sparkler pack contains enough items to have a party for 6 persons. So in addition to all the regular parts that come with a sparkler party, as in the cups, the spoons, the plates, and even the horns, we wanted to let you know that you also get masks, you get invitations, there are party hats, there's even a party banner, there's your usual loot bags, you get a tablecloth, and you even get blowers. Our sparkler boxes are available in a variety of themes. There's Spider-Man, Frozen, Paw Patrol, Minnie Mouse, Peppa Pig, any theme that you can imagine, Events Extraordinaire is here to supply. Please visit us today. We are located in Camps next to the 24-hour gas station. Our numbers are 767-6977 or 663-6227. Events Extraordinaire. Let's add the sparkle to your event.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
And welcome back to Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. My name is Hassani McDonald.
I'm Malika Howell.
And if you're just joining us, we are here talking about a journey in self-love for the Love Month. We now have our new guest, Nadia Rollins. I'll let Laura to introduce herself.
So I'm Nadia Rollins, as you heard. I'm a counselor at the National Counseling Center.
Nice. What do you do at the Counseling Center?
Well, we counsel adults, children, everybody, basically. Yeah. So we provide that psychosocial support that persons need. We also have a family systems program for. We have some family counselors also. So yeah, we do a lot.
Well, we'll start by asking you, as we ask Crystal, what does self-love mean to you?
For me, it's an appreciation of my worth. You know, acceptance of myself holistically, from outside, inside, just the whole package. Likes, dislikes, strengths, weaknesses, all of that stuff. So it's appreciation of me.
So Crystal believes that self-love covers everything, your flaws and all that, basically.
Indeed.
So you basically agree with that position?
I mean, Crystal gave some wonderful points. It really is an acceptance of you holistically, but you can't separate any part of it. So I totally agree with her.
Okay. So earlier, as we spoke with Crystal from a self perspective, you know, she going through that journey for herself, and now from a counselor perspective.
Okay.
I would like to explore the idea of how do young persons deal with different battles that they may go through. How do they improve their self-image? What are some practical things that you would encourage them to do?
Okay, so we know it's particularly hard for young people, especially in this time. I know Crystal was talking a lot about social media. There's a lot of different influences that, you know, make it hard for young persons to accept themselves. So they look at the basketball wives, the what's the thing? What do you call it? The Real Housewives, the Love and Hip Hop. Right, those things, and they think that, you know, this is how I'm supposed to be and this is how I'm supposed to look. But we also have to recognize that persons portray just what they want us to see.
Yes.
Right? So it's just what we want to see. I also said social media, Facebook, all those things, not real life. Right? So they are faced with a lot of challenges, and it's hard for a young person, you know, to see those things and, you know, try to accept themselves. But we like to encourage young people, you know, all the time. You have to surround yourself with positive people, you know, good solid friends, you know, good solid connections. And, you know, we also want to encourage parents, you know, you have to, because that's how we develop our self-image and our self-love. It comes from, at home. It comes from at home. What we see, our upbringing, our relationships, that kind of thing. So parents as well, tell your children you love them, tell them they're beautiful, you know, those kind of things. So those things are helpful, you know, for young people, because they get it there first. You know, when they get it there first, nobody could stop you, you know. I don't say, because, you know, my mommy tell me,
my daddy tell me,
nobody could tell me
otherwise. It don't matter what you say, because mommy tell me this.
But it's really hard. It's really, really hard for young people. And I think you guys spoke with Crystal about comparisons. We compare ourselves a lot, and we know.
Tea for joy.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we will be doing something. You know, we feel good about ourselves, and then the minute you see somebody doing something else, and you're just like, but why am I doing that?
Right.
You know, start to bring down all that worth that you just build up yourself.
Right. A lot of self-doubt, right? And sometimes you do something and you did it so well, but in yourself you feel you're just so critical, because we're always our worst critic, right? So you criticize yourself, and that wasn't the good, and you wouldn't be you would be surprised that there are others looking at you. I mean, like, my God, Hassani did a fantastic job, and Hassani now is at home like, I can't believe I do this, I should have done this. You know, beat ourselves up a lot, you know, so that's a real thing.
I mean, doubt somewhat, I just be like, is inevitable sometimes.
I mean, it
can always be
doubt.
Of course,
but then when it starts to permeate your thoughts,
right,
and you start to be crippled, like you can't do nothing, because
you can't do
like,
anything.
No, man, worthy of this.
Right.
You know, like, that's
and sometimes we miss out on a lot
problem.
of opportunities because of I'm not good
yes.
enough. You know, why did they want to choose me? You know, but
that's true.
We just
so how would you encourage persons to overcome that self-doubt aspect?
Well, you know, I think Crystal spoke about this again, because, you know, we can be overlapping a lot. But I mean, it is a recognition that you have to understand that, you know, I need to do better for me. I can be better for me. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a conscious effort that you have to make, and it's easier said than done. You know that, because, you know, we have a lot of stuff coming against us, you know. And when the bar is moved every minute, and you know, you think, okay, I reach here now, I'm good, and then the bar move again, you know. So it's really really hard, you know. But it begins with that understanding of you and making that conscious effort, you know, to, like, I need to be better. I am a better person, you know. I am a good person. You know, I love myself and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of positive self-talk, as you talked about before. Those affirmations. I don't know what Hassani said to himself in the mirror. You know, what you said to yourself. You know, those kind of things. You know, you have to do those things. And, you know, the internet provides a lot of material that, you know, young people can tap into. Right. You know, not just to go on TikTok and those kind of things, but you could look for stuff like journal prompts for self-love. And
what am I grateful for today?
Right, and you start to look at those prompts, and, you know, it kind of help you to, like, guide your thoughts in a sense, you know. Right. So you start to write about those things. So journaling, affirmations, talking to yourself in a positive way. Those are real practical stuff.
Like, one of the things my friends told me today, was start to imagine what you want to become.
Right.
You know, because it is loading, and that for me was profound, because if you start to prepare your mind mentally for where you want to be, it conditions your actions. Sometimes your actions start to align with your dreams and your aspirations.
And it's not even about seeking for, going for perfection. It's just thinking about, what do you want? What is the life that I want? And as you said, setting up yourself for it. Right, set up yourself. You start to make plans. You'll be surprised how just having those goals and everything set, you know,
like,
really
I literally, like,
you
know, we just pray for certain things, and we're like, no, I want this, I want that, and I don't think sometimes we just pray to God to bless us with the ability to maintain them things when we actually get them.
When we get them,
because you're praying for the job, you
get it,
and it's just like not performing. You know, you ain't doing the things that you
or sometimes you feel like, okay, this ain't good enough, something else. I need something else.
It's true, and I think that it's important to, as you say, mentally prepare yourself for where I am heading.
Where you're heading,
so that my expectations and everything kind of
align. Yeah, you really have to
important.
set up for what you want. You
That's
really have
important.
to. And as I said, no easier said than done, because
Of
a lot of
course.
things coming at you daily.
So when you feel like you're over one, the next one
there's a lot
right
of
behind
things coming
you.
daily. So sometimes it's like, oh yeah, she could say what she wants. It's tough. It is. It is. We acknowledge that it is tough, but you have to remain consistent.
So
you know,
how would you
Consistency.
that's important.
Yeah.
That's another aspect of this whole journey. Like you know, it's not gonna be easy.
Correct.
To remain and stick to it.
Stick to it.
But
Yeah.
just you know, you would see the fruits.
As we said, the bar keeps moving. You know, the world keeps turning. The bar keeps moving. So you just have to remain consistent and just continue on your journey.
How important you think self-reflection and self-introspection is in this journey of self?
Oh, it's critically important, because we have to know us. We have to understand ourselves, right? So you have to take a moment and kind of reflect on who you are. I think Crystal mentioned it before. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? You know, those kind of things. It's critically important so that, you know, you're able to set boundaries, as you talked about before, because you know what are your limits. You know, you know, I could only take so much.
Yeah, this is it for me. This
Correct.
is the cut-off point.
So it's very important for us to take time to reflect on all of that stuff, right? And also, I mean, you could also ask persons that are closest to you, not just any fly-by-night person, but like, you know, somebody, you know, somebody who knows, you know, what do you see in me? What are some of the strengths that you've seen in me? You know, what are some ways that you think I can improve? But we also have to be willing to receive that information.
Because it might not always be what you want. And I was thinking, when you ask people these questions, don't want them to say
certain things.
What you want them to say.
Right, you have to be willing to receive what is said to you and use it as a, you know, a stepping stool to better yourself and improve yourself in different ways.
Because even like going back to like when I was in law school, and sometimes our advocacy teacher would be showing us something, and you know, I'm objecting, like, no, I mean, it's supposed to be. She said technical coaching. She said technical coaching. And
I'm sure you're grateful for it now, right?
Because I mean, it really builds you, like, you know, when you sit back and not honest, don't say you justify everything, but realize that this person just wants the best for you.
Exactly.
This is what they're recommending for you to get on a better journey.
And people see things in us that we don't see in ourselves. Right? As we said, we're our worst critics, so we're very hard on ourselves. We think we're the worst at A, B, and C, and then somebody looking at you like, girl, you're really good at this. So sometimes for you to hear it from another perspective is really good for you. You know, but you have to be, as I say, you have to be willing to receive, because everything might not be
what you want to hear.
What you want may not be the nicest. You might hear some stuff about yourself that you may not like, but it's how you use that information moving forward. So it's really good to take some time to reflect, you know. As I said, you go on the internet, find prompts to help you.
Well, see, here we hear the internet can be both positive
and negative. There's a lot of stuff.
How you use it. It depends on the user.
You could use the same TikTok and the same Instagram and so to do some searches, because persons talk about these things all the time.
And persons are more getting more and more aware
yes.
of themselves and
yes.
their journeys,
yes.
you know, they tell you, you know, doing some introspection and looking inwardly. And I mean, it's just like a journey of enlightenment, really.
Yeah, right.
A lot of persons are on board and a lot of persons are doing it. And they're vlogging about their experiences.
Exactly. They're vlogging about their journey to self-love, you know, how where they're starting and where they are now. So they could provide some valuable tips. So it's not just to go on to look at the influencers and to see the latest this and that, whatever. But you could use it for compare yourself.
Use it for the positive.
Use it for the positive.
Okay, well, Nadia, we will be right back after this short break to speak more on our journey in self-love.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
Yeah, man. Another day in the books. Well, hello there. She pretty from head to toe, and are you ready to go? Wait there. Whew. Can't afford to slip up, not even in my dreams.
Health-wise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing,
but hope is remaining.
And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
And we're back, and welcome back. Thank you for joining us on Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. I am Malika Howell.
And I am Hassani McDonald.
And we're here with our guest, Ms. Nadia Rollins. And we're continuing our journey in self-love. So we're going to start by speaking on the challenges. You know, when you start your journey, you know, you're often called selfish. You know, you only care about yourself, you know, because you adjust to care for yourself. So how do you curb that? Do you even be bothered by the...
That's a good question. If you should really, internalize it, right? Because you know you're on a journey.
Yeah.
And once you're on the journey, things gonna come from left, right, all over to try to bring you down. Persons are gonna come from all corners to kind of like dull your shine, right? And I'm sure you guys would have experienced it over.
Pop back. People who done gone,
like coming back, like
right. You've probably experienced it, right? That you know, and persons make bad comments and those kind of things that make you kind of start to doubt yourself. But you gotta remain consistent. You gotta tell yourself, listen, this is my journey. You know, I know we talked about selfishness, and when we talk about selfishness, it's not in a negative way. Just, you know, it's about you focusing on you, pouring into you. But the challenges is as a realization that the challenges are definitely gonna come from all over. Right, but you just have to say that no, this is my journey, this is what I want, this is what I see I need for me, and you continue on that journey.
Yeah, you can't let the negativity push you off of that journey.
And it is hard, because especially if it's coming from all over.
Yes, and from the people closest to you as well.
The people coming closest to you, even in your own home, you know, from your own parents and stuff like that. So it is hard. Imagine you're on this self-love journey and you want to do so much for yourself, and you get home and you hear, you know, bad things.
Everything you don't need to be hearing.
Everything that you've done wrong.
What he playing.
Right. And then we have our own internal, like I said, like your own internal dictionary then of words that we use to describe ourselves. So we had on ourselves in that way too. Plus hearing it from other persons. So you know, it's
so you hear it out there, and then you come home to what's supposed to be a safe space.
Your safe space, and you're
getting it there too.
Yeah, so it really is a challenge. But I always encourage people to surround yourself with good people. It's good to have good, solid people around you. That's really critical.
Speak life into you, into what you're going through.
Yeah, to motivate you, that kind of thing. That's critically important.
But on the flip side, to that, where persons come off as overly confident, or you know, some people say, "No man, she's too much."
Yeah, she know it's trying too hard.
I'm sure there are persons whose life in whose lives they've heard those things.
True.
What do you tell persons as it relates to that?
I mean, sometimes it could go both ways, because sometimes they're being too much is just their way of hiding what masking and hiding what's going on. So that could be, it could be going that way, or it could be that they really work so hard and they feel like, I reach now and I good now, I'm good. I really love myself. Nothing you could say could stop me, So it's just, again, you have to be confident in yourself that this is me, this is my journey, this is not about anybody else. I am pouring into me, I have poured into me, and now I'm reaping the benefits of that.
There's this thing on social media that says you're gonna be too much for some people.
True.
Those are not your people.
Correct. That's true. That is indeed correct. Yeah, that is indeed correct. Yeah, because persons are gonna say, "Oh, as you say, you're playing more than why you should be."
Right. You have to find your crowd.
And then, they, as you said, they know what you went through to
to
reach
this
point,
and
how
exactly
at this point, you've accepted everything. Back down.
You put in so much hard work to be where you are. As I said, you poured in yourself over the years. You had your ups, you had your downs, you had everything. So they don't know. They're just seeing, what you are presenting. And as I said, sometimes it could be a mask. It can be a mask indeed. But there are some persons that are genuinely like that. And those are the people that you should even ask, how did you get there? How did you
but
become
then you also don't want to touch the wrong person. You're like, how did you become that way? And they're like,
I'm really not that way.
Really not that way. Right, because then you're like, do I have to be like that? Do I have to start to act that way? Because you really don't know.
You really don't know.
The reality versus
people
the
only show you what they want you to
Correct.
see, And so you have to be very, very mindful. That's why comparison answer is really deadly.
Because sometimes you peel back all that confidence and it's just filled with a bunch of insecurity.
Yes.
It's only when you start to dig deeper, you realize this wasn't really unhappy.
Exactly. Exactly. Because unhappy people, have the biggest smiles on their face.
Sure.
But what about past traumas? Sometimes even as again, this is a show for young persons and helping them navigate the lives and all that happens in their lives. But what about persons who deal with past traumas or those who bury the past traumas? What do you say to them as it relates to getting over those traumas healthily and really improving themselves on this journey?
Self-love and that thing is a product of learning, right? So you would have experienced some traumas in your life. So it has shaped how you view yourself, how you love yourself, how you think persons think about you, and it's not something that is easily gotten over. It's a process. First, you have to recognize that, something really did happen to me. I really did experience a trauma. And then you have to be willing to work on that, right? So I know it's not something that people say, oh, get over it. So much time has passed, get over it. But it has really shaped who you are. It has, as we like to say, sometimes it has broken you to a point where you can't even see anything else, So it is a work. So you have to acknowledge that,
this has happened,
and you have to also want to change that narrative for you. So it's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's not an overnight process.
Right.
It's really not an overnight process because, as you said, some trauma is deeply rooted. Yes. Some persons may not even recognize that what they experienced was traumatic. Because for some of us, we have a different definition too.
Yes.
Right? What may be traumatic to me may not be the same for you, the same intensity and that kind of thing, or your response may be different. So it really is a work in progress. It's not an overnight thing.
That's important.
Just like the journey in self-love. Yes. It's not just a straight road.
Yes.
You have to be here for the ups and downs.
Ups and downs, the turn around the corners,
the narrow corner,
the dead ends.
But there is, I think there is a beauty in the process.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Going through it, thinking, I'm here. Then you go to another state and you realize,
as soon as you think you've arrived, you have more to go.
Even celebrating your accomplishments to a point where you're like, this used to bother me before.
Exactly.
This is like grown, I think you're saying, cap shut up. No, not for me. When you speak, you said like, me used to let that bother me.
Right. When you reach that level where you're looking back and you're like, wait.
Like, wow, like, look how far I've come, you know?
Honestly.
Yeah, it really
that
is a
helps
journey.
on the journey. Stop celebrating the small wins.
The small things, the 1%.
Don't wait until you reach the end.
one step.
Because it's a continuous.
It's a continuous
process.
thing.
And if you just celebrate your small wins, you realize, the small wins do add up to something really big.
Right. Having gratitude and giving, as Crystal said, giving yourself a little grace.
Yes.
You know, you've reached thus far.
Yes.
I reached to this point. I never thought I could have gotten to here, but I'm here now, and you know, I'm proud of myself. So positive self-talk.
There may be some slips. I may go back here, but
of course.
It's expected.
It's expected.
Failure isn't falling, it's staying down.
Yes,
that
is it.
I love that. Say that again.
Failure isn't falling, it's staying down.
Okay.
How many times you get up, you're winning again.
Yes.
Right, you get up and you get moving
must
again.
have all that energy, must have all that strength on this journey.
Yes, all that courage to move forward. Yes, indeed.
I think this conversation has given us such a deeper appreciation, you know, for this whole idea of self-love and our journey, and explain it from a counselor's perspective, because that's not something we really other persons are encouraging now, but it wasn't something that was heavily accepted.
True. Yeah.
And so it's great to hear from you, Nadia, as a counselor, and the things that we can do.
Thank you for having me.
And so I want to thank you, and we're going to take a short commercial break and be right back with more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Youth Lounge with SKNYPA is sponsored in part by the St. Kitts Electricity Company, SKELEC, powering the community.
Yeah, man. Another day in the books. Well, hello there. Ooh, she pretty from head to toe, and are you ready to go? Wait there. Whew. Can't afford to slip up, not even in my dreams.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing, but hope is remaining. And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with SKNYPA, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts-Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
And welcome back to Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. Again, my name is Hassani McDonald.
I am Malika Howell.
And this evening we had a really great episode exploring self-love, a journey into self-love.
The journey.
We had two great guests, Crystal Joseph and Nadia Rollins, and they spoke so great about the things of this journey, and we really appreciate them joining us on Youth Lounge with SKNYPA.
Yes, definitely.
For this episode. So now, this is where we say farewell.
Teardrop.
Just until the next episode, which is not next week, but the week after that.
So enjoy your Valentine's, and then we'll see you right after that.
Yes. We'll have more Youth Lounge with SKNYPA. Good evening.